how you make a set. So today, I'm filming a little car sequence all in my garage in hopes of making it seem like we're out on the road driving somewhere. Now, not the entire sequence would be me driving on the road, but there's going to be a section of this video where I want it to look like we are maybe out on the road driving. It will be a bit of a challenging shoot because the space isn't all that big. It's kind of hard to move around here. Like I said, this is my garage, so there's a ton of stuff everywhere. So it's just kind of tight, kind of hard to set lights up, my stands, but we're always up for a good challenge, right? So with that, I'm going to walk you through how to light and shoot a car sequence like this one right here. So first, we're going to be talking about how to plan a sequence like this. So we're going to have to jump back in time and head on back up to the studio. So I got the idea for this driver sequence from an Instagram post I saw, and it completely reminded me of the movie Drive. And then I just started visualizing how we can focus on the details, like a hand gripping the steering wheel tightly with the sound of leather gloves squeezing the wheel, my foot on the pedal, my hand quickly putting the shift knob in gear, and the car racing down a road. So for a sequence like this, I already knew I was going to run into a few challenges. The first one being a speeding car. Due to the pandemic, I knew I wouldn't be able to get a crew together on short notice, so I had to resort to stock footage. And that introduced the second challenge, and that is matching footage of what I find to the footage that I shoot. Would I be able to find a similar car? Would I be able to match the color of the car? Would I be able to match the lighting and the color grade of the footage I found? So I decided to keep the footage that I shot to fairly tight close-ups so you wouldn't be able to tell the difference all that much, hopefully at least. So I opened up Notion and I started jotting down all the notes for all the specific shots that I wanted to achieve. And then I hopped on over to the internet and started looking for footage. And that brings me to the sponsor of today's video, and that is artgrid. Artgrid is a platform that offers high quality stock footage for filmmakers, content creators, YouTubers, and so much more. With one simple license, you'll get unlimited access to the entire catalog of royalty-free footage for use in any private and commercial production on any platform worldwide. Once you download footage, it is yours forever. With a constantly growing catalog of footage, artgrid is the perfect addition to your every project. Sign up today using the link down below to get 2 additional months entirely free. So after quite a bit of searching, I ended up with these clips right here. And now that we have a bit of a plan and we've got some high quality stock footage, it's time to get filming.
Let's get back to basics. I'ma take the shot like it's a vaccination. I don't have the patience. I'ma shoot right now. Yeah, we undefeated and you gon' lose right now. Like click, 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 swish. I can switch it up anytime like this. I'm a videographer and I'm on the verse. So when I shoot my shot, I don't miss. I'm gonna take the shot, take the shot, take the shot. You know I'm gonna take the shot, take the shot, take the shot. Pull up and take the shot.
I think this light moved now, didn't it?
You know I'm gonna take the shot, take the shot.
Alright, so let's go over one of the main shots that I shot over here, and that is the main close-up of the driver. There were a couple different versions of this that you see in the sequence here, and they were all shot through the windshield. Now, I wanted to create a moody directional light, just like in the photo I found on Instagram. So to do that, all I had to do was set up a few lights. Alright, so for the lighting here today, we are using the, what is this? The Golden Eagle LED 3000 light, but you could just as easily use anything like an Aperture 120D. I then decided to put my ambit fill optical focalized condenser. I have a hard time saying the thing all the time because it is so much of a mouthful. But I put that on my light so that I can add this cookie in there, or gobo, to create a cutout slit to make that the main light source that was going onto my face when I was in the driver's seat, before the driving occurred. Once the driving occurred, that spotlight wouldn't make sense to be on the face anymore because the car should be in motion. So at that point, the lighting started to change. So that's when I decided to use one of these guys right over here. This is a godox tube light. These things are coming out very soon, so I'll link it down in the description once it is available. But I basically had Kristen stand right by here and just wipe the light around like so. So it kind of mimicked the look of headlights, or not headlights. I mean, it could be headlights as well, but the street lights overhead that you're kind of just driving by. As you can see, it gives a bit of a drive-by effect. You know, so simple as that. And I also tossed one of these in the back seat of the car to add a little bit of a rim light to the edge of my body for a few of the shots as well. Then I just basically played around with a combination of these lights as I switched the camera around so I could find the best way to just add a little bit of an accent light to everything I wanted. The key wasn't to have just direct bright spotlights on everything. I wanted it to be just a little bit dark and moody and quite contrasty. So I just played around with having these minimal lighting set up to light this whole scene. This is quite bright, isn't it? I'm moving this around way too much. But anyway, And one of the finishing touches was the haze, so that you can see all back there. It's all nice and fogged up there. So I just really feel like that adds a bit of an atmosphere and a bit of a nice mood to this whole scene over here. So it's quite simple. It's just a fog machine. I got it on Amazon for like 50 bucks. It's quite cheap. Actual hazers are quite a bit more expensive. They do react a little bit differently in the air. I believe they spread out and create this softer look overall without having to do much to it. So I have to fan this quite a bit to make it thin out and spread out nicely. But that really helps diffuse the light and give this soft, dreamy look. And finally, I have a Black Pro mist filter on there as well. So that really just helps bloom the highlights and give that soft, dreamy look as well. Okay, I feel like that might be slightly sharper. Okay, that looks good. So then, I don't need that light anymore. Now I need this again. You know what? If I bring it closer, it'll be a little smaller, I think. Alrighty, well, I think I filmed everything I need. I'm pretty happy with how everything's looking right now. So I think it's time to put it all together with the stock footage that we found. So let's hop back on into the studio and put it all together. So a short sequence like this is gonna need some super tight editing, especially if we're gonna make it seem like my footage and the stock footage all seamlessly connect. So I quickly found all of the main shots that I wanted to, and I dumped them in my timeline. Then I started trimming each clip until I found exactly what I wanted to, and just laid them all out in the order that I wanted. I tried to have a bit of a narrative here that this driver is a bit of a criminal. He might be a getaway driver, just like the main character in the movie Drive. So I kind of wanted to set the mood and tone by having this overhead aerial nighttime city shot, and then kind of setting the location with this back alley of some kind of warehouse industrial complex. And that's when we introduce our main character, the driver. My idea was to have some police sirens, maybe an overhead helicopter flying by, and just kind of set the tone that this driver or this character might be trying to dodge the cops right now. Then I thought maybe he could be just sitting there focusing, waiting for the right time to escape, and that's where I got the idea that he could potentially have a police scanner in his car. So you don't actually physically see this, but you can hear the police radio chatter that he's listening to. So he's got his eyes closed as he's gripping the steering wheel, just kind of waiting and ready to go. And as soon as he hears some specific words that the cops say, he knows he's got to get out of there, he's got to book it. So he opens his eyes, he puts it into gear, and he floors that pedal. So that was kind of the whole main concept here. Nothing big, nothing crazy, but I thought that could be an effective little short film with the footage that I found on artgrid. So cutting this all together was quite simple and easy, but what really made the short film on top of the stock footage was the sound design. I spent a ton of time on Artlist looking for the best sound effects I could possibly find, and there are a ton of different sounds scattered throughout this whole thing. So as you can hear here, I've got different car sounds, different police chatter, different environmental sounds. There's all kinds of stuff going on here to kind of set the tone and set the mood of this little short film. So when it all comes together with the stock footage, with the footage that I shot, and with all the sound design, that's where we end up with a final product like this. So now let's watch it in its entirety.
Be advised, suspect is armed and extremely dangerous.
Alright, so that brings us to the end of this video. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope you found this useful and learned something new here today. As always, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button down below, and don't forget to subscribe so you can stay up to date with what I am posting. There's lots more cool stuff coming your way, so you're not going to want to miss it. And with that, I'm Alex Perry. Thank you so much for watching again, and I'll catch you in the next video. See ya.
I develop film, not feelings.